Hi everyone, I'm back with a new episode on modeling in Cinema4D. In this episode, I'm going to model a Bluetooth speaker. It has an interesting design and brought some cool challenges for me. Unlike the previous course, this video provides more detailed information, making it a good fit for beginners and intermediate learners. By the way, before we start the tutorial, I wanted to add a quick note. I've created a page on Buy Me a Coffee and included the link in the description in case anyone wants to support me financially. Creating these tutorials takes time, and your generosity will definitely help me focus more on these courses. The tutorials will always be free, and I'm available to answer any questions you might have. Thank you. So let's get started. Before we start, we need to import the reference images into the software. I'll be importing a top view and a side view. Make sure that the dimensions of the images match each other. First, I'll import the top view. To do this, I go to the mode menu, then enter view settings. Select the back tab and load my image. Okay. You see, I can easily guess where the center of the model is. There are 4 screws around it that perfectly indicate the center. All right, I'll try to align the image to the center. All right. Let's move on to the side view. I'll follow the same steps as before. All right. Of course, you've probably noticed that due to the model's round shape, we're missing part of the side view. As we progress, I'll use another reference to cover those sections. All right. For the first step, I need to use a polygon that has a round shape. This is a very simple and fundamental concept. So if you're just starting with modeling, make sure to pay attention. It's important to approach modeling step by step. Start by creating a simple version of the model, then gradually refine and develop it. A key point to remember is to ensure that your model's mesh is based on quadrilateral polygons, which is a standard practice in modeling. You'll see more of this throughout the video. I created the basic circular model using a 16-sided polygon and then scaled it to the size indicated by the reference. Click on the layer I created and press the C key to make it editable. I want to remove all the internal lines. So I select them, right click and choose melt. I switch to polygon mode, click on the model, and then use the inset tool to pull the polygon inward to the edge of the round space in the center, creating a new section. Now that I've got the relative dimensions of the model, it's a good time to switch to the side view and adjust the reference dimensions to match my model. If you notice, this part of the model has a slight slope. I select the internal lines and adjust them according to the top reference. To select a ring of edges, you can go to the select menu and choose loop selection. This tool can also be used in other modes such as polygon and point. As you can see, we have 4 holes in the 4 corners of this circle. To create them, I'm using an 8-sided polygon. Then I put it under a clone generator, set the shape to radial and change the number to 4. Then I adjust the radius to increase the distance between them until they reach the desired position. Now, I select the 8-sided polygon and scale it down to match the reference side. I need to create 4 holes in the model the size of this 8-sided polygon. For this, I'll use the bool generator. But before that, I'll make the 8-sided polygon editable by pressing the C key. Then, in polygon mode, I select it and extrude it downward using the D key shortcut. As per my method, place the main model that you want to create holes under the bool generator first, and then place the object that will create the holes. I need 3 lines to connect to the edges of the holes and convert my polygons to quads. Note that I haven't actually made the holes yet. They are currently just virtual until I make everything into a single editable layer. So for now, the lines are simply being added to the base model and do not interact with the holes. Uh, don't worry too much about getting the lines perfectly aligned with the edges. We'll fix them later. Now that I've added the lines, I need to convert the generator and its sub-objects into a single layer. Just click on the generator and check the Create Single Objects on from its submenu. And then, as you know, press the C key. All right, so this middle circle is really unnecessary now. So I'll delete it. Select 1/4 of the model, then press U and I to invert the selection. After that, press delete. From here on, I'll convert the model into a quarter and place it under a clone generator. This way, any changes I make to the model will automatically apply to the other 3 parts as well. The lines I previously drew aren't connected to the edges of the holes. I'll use the brush selection tool by pressing 9 to select the points, then press them in Q and click on the point where I want to merge the selected points. If I place a subdivision surface generator on the clone, I'll notice that the connection points of the 4 pieces are separated. To connect them, I just need to add a connect generator above the clone. I have a curved indentation on my reference. Let me brighten the reference so you can see it more clearly. To create it, I select the area, right click and choose inset. Then I drag the area inward to form the space you see. So actually, I want to keep the narrow rectangle that was created, but the line in the middle is no longer centered. I need to delete it. Since this line is connected to the hole, I'll remove it using melt. So I could also use dissolve to delete the line, but the difference is that with melt, the points created by the line will remain even after the line is removed. With dissolve, the points are removed as well. Since I want to preserve the shape of the hole, using dissolve would ruin it, so I'll go with melt instead. The rest is straightforward. I draw a line right in the middle and connect both ends of the hole. Get holding the control key and dragging downward, I create the indentation. Well, you can see the area where the shadows cast. There is a topology issue here. It needs to be fixed. I'm adding another line down here, and you'll see that this line does not cover a complete loop. The reason is that along this line, we have non-quadrilateral polygons, and I need to find a way to make that polygon quadrilateral. Well, that's it for this. So now let's move on to this area. We need to make the edges of the rectangle sharp instead of soft. Also, like the four vertical edges, and use the bevel tool to add curvature to them. You can adjust the number of these edges, but make sure to build the model with the minimum number because otherwise you'll have to struggle a lot to create new connections, which could be quite troublesome. Now I need to fix these new polygons to get rid of this chaotic situation. Whenever you see such shading and hatching and modeling, be aware that two polygons are overlapping. I'll delete them here and refill the area. So select the inner area and use the inset tool to create a new edge. The closer these lines are to the corners, the less curvature the edges will have later when using subdivision surface and vice versa. But right now, I want the edge to be only slightly soft, so I'm not going too far inward. Then I'll work on the quadrilateral connections. Okay. I want to extend the wall with two lines. So if I hold shift and move the mouse, you'll notice that the lines snap to certain intervals. This means the software is dividing the space into equally spaced intervals and indicating where you can place your line. These divisions are adjustable in the loop, patch cut tools, quantize step options. Interestingly, since I need two lines at the top and bottom of the wall, I just need to check the symmetrical cut option and the lines will be added simultaneously and symmetrically. Good. I'll also select the outer perimeter and use inset to create another edge all around so I have a proper angle from the top as well. See this edge. I don't need it. The entire path needs to be deleted, especially the part under the hole where it's doubled up. That's not good at all. So I can select this path using the loop selection tool, but part of what I want to keep will be removed as well. So I'll select the two ends of the line I want to delete and then activate the S-opposite selection option in the loop selection tool. This way, it will select the area between the 2 points. All right. I won't deal with this area for now, but I'll come back to fix it later since it has some issues. For now, I want to focus on the rest. I'll select the inner loop of the hole and the outer edge, then hold down the control key to move them downward exactly according to my reference. Obviously, I need to add two edges inside the hole to control the curvature of the edges. One thing to note is that if you use the loop path cut tool, you can activate the recess option right after adding a new line. This way, the operation stays in the tool's memory, and at the next location, you just need to click, and the lines will be placed exactly in the same position as before. This tool is perfect for similar and repeatable patterns. Great. Well, let's move on to the grid section in the middle. Start this part by creating a plane, removing all its segments, and then resizing it to match the size of one of the holes. Then I'll resize it so that its edges align precisely with the gaps between the surrounding holes. Then I'll switch it to editable mode and create a horizontal and vertical line right in the center of the square. Now select all four polygons and use the inset tool to create a square. In a word, the dimensions are not important. Then I'll right click and select collapse. Next, I'll switch to point mode. Select the center point and use the bevel tool to drag the mouse and create a circle exactly the size of the hole. Make sure the subdivision value in the bevel tool options is set to 0. But this was the method we used before the fit circle tools added to the software. Now just select the same four squares and use inset to pull them inward, then right click, select fit circle, and drag the mouse. Since I'm creating a hole and will definitely use subdivision surface in the future, I need to ensure that the edges of the hole don't become too curved. Therefore, at this stage, I'll add an edge to it. An important point is that since I want the edge to be exactly on the previous line, uh, I need to select the edge distance option in the generator settings. Now I'll place the model under a clone generator to create the number of copies I need. Look, this grid has 4 rows in the middle and decreases in number and a stair step pattern as you move up or down. So I only need to create the upper half and then take a copy for the lower half. Previously, I counted 28 horizontal holes in the first 2 rows. Now I need to reduce the spacing between the squares so that they touch each other. See, we could sit and adjust the numbers to bring the spacing between the squares to zero, but that's not logical and has a high margin of error. To solve this issue, we can simply use the connect generator. In fact, by adjusting the tolerance range in the generator, you tell it to connect points that are within this distance of each other. Right. The upper half is done. Now need the symmetry generator to create a copy in the opposite direction and complete the grid. Just keep in mind that since I'm going to copy and mirror from the top, I need to align the seam of the model precisely with the base of the model. Okay, simple. I want to make a copy along the Z axis. So in the generator options, I'll turn off the X axis and switch the Z axis mode. Just that easy. Um, that's it for this. Now I need to convert everything into a single editable layer. Be sure to switch to point mode afterward. Select the entire model, right click, and choose optimize. This will connect any points that are not already connected. I'll switch to edge mode and select the edges of the work. Then I'll hold down the control key and use the scale tool to create a new edge. Now I'll right click and use the fit circle option to turn the edge into a circle. It needs a bit of manual adjustment, but it turned out great. Wow, it turned out really cool. All right, this section is done. Let's move on to the middle section. All right, I'll grab the edge of the model and drag it down while holding the control key. Each time I release the mouse click, it creates a new line. I'll create the layers according to the reference. I'll select the new area in polygon mode, right click, and use the split tool to separate that area. I'll use clone to create a complete circle from it and make sure to use the connect generator to connect all four parts. I'll create the recessed areas for the keys and I'll position the axis in the center of the model. Then I'll rotate the model so that each circular button is centered within a square. Okay, I'll select the desired areas, and adjust their dimensions to match the reference. I'll do this by extruding using the shortcut key D. I intend to inset the area around the three circular buttons, but as you can see, there's a similar area on the other side of the device, so whatever we do on this side needs to be done on the other side as well. Therefore, I'll select everything together and proceed. I need two lines to separate the area. Now I'll select the desired area and push it inward. Then I'll use the D key to extrude it inward. To continue my work. I need more connections. I'll select the entire model in polygon mode, right click and choose subdivide. I'll set the value to 1 and make sure to check the smooth subdivision option. I'll make the inner line a bit larger to eliminate the inward slope. This way, when I extrude the keys outward, they'll be closer to the side edges. Okay. I have 6 squares and I'm using 4 of them for my buttons. I'll select the first 2 and the last one, then inset them inward. Uh, I just need to use fit circle to turn them into circles. I think there's still room to move these 2 buttons closer to the edge. Yeah. I'll convert the middle square to a circle using the same method. However, the three circles are definitely not equal. To fix this, I'll select all three circles again and check the exact radius option in the Fit Circle tool settings. To create these two rectangular recesses, I'll simply inset the specified area inward and then easily use the bevel tool to curve the internal edges. We've done this before. Here's a note. Uh, Plan to connect the air-shaped lines to their opposite points to make the polygons quadrilateral. Since the polygons have issues and are overlapping, I'll first convert the edges to polygons. Then I'll create a selection tag to automatically find the polygons later. After that, I'll delete them and fill the empty space to replace them with healthy polygons. To do this in selection mode, go to the select menu and choose the convert selection tool. What I have are edges. What am I going to convert them into? Obviously, polygons, and that's it. Connecting points with shared keys, M and Q, and clicking on the point will merge the points. Besides the close polygon hole tool, we can use the bridge tool to connect the edges of two areas and fill the gap. The important point here is that the path is curved and not straight. So be sure to check both of the first two options in the bridge tool settings. For the middle strip, I'll use the inset tool to create an outline so that the edges become sharper. To select this area, I use the Fong Break selection tool. It works by separating areas based on the angle of the model's edges. For example, if you set it to 30 degrees, it will find areas of your model where the angle is within 30 degrees and separate those from the rest. It's a useful and easy tool for selecting areas. All right, that's done. Now let's move on to the bottom part of the device, which is quite simple. You can see the two colors of the model. Normally, the orange color should always be on the outside, and the purple color should be inside the model. In 3D software, this is referred to as normal. Imagine you have a shirt you want to wear. Your shirt is orange on the outside, but purple on the inside. If you accidentally wear it inside out, it means the normals of the shirt are reversed and need to be fixed. So you turn the shirt right side out to have the correct side facing outward. This is the simplest example I can give about normal. All right, that's it for this section. We're almost done. For the final part, I need to do a few small tasks and address any issues, like creating the screws and fixing any imperfections. To flatten this section, I copy the position of a point along the v-axis. Then I select all the points and assign that value to all of them. Remember to set only the number 0 in the third column of the scale. To create the screws, I'll make a copy of the entire top model and flatten it. Then I switch to individual display mode. For better visibility, I'll go to edge mode and select the ring. This is actually the diameter of the hole that the screw will match. Next, I'll go to the mesh menu and choose edge to spline to create a separate spline. Now that I no longer need the copied model, I'll delete it. Then I'll place the spline under an extrude generator. I'll flatten the screw layer. My plan is to create a recess in the middle. In the reference, the screw has a curvature on its inner walls, but is rounded on the outside. I'll use the bevel deformer to curve the model. Here's a simple tip. Generators are typically recognized by their green color and are placed above the model, while deformers are indicated by their blue color and are placed below the model. The bevel deformer works similarly to the bevel tool we used before, but they differ in details and efficiency. One of the advantages is that you can select a path and create a tag for it. Then you assign that tag to the bevel so that the deformer only affects that specific area. All right, the grid we created needs some adjustments. At the top where the logo will be placed, we have a completely enclosed space. We need to remove these holes. Great. I need a cover here. I can take a pattern from the interior space and expand it. All right. In the middle, I have two small holes that appear to be lights, creating them a straightforward. And finally, we'll move on to creating the devices. Hanging ring. Since I need a cut on the two arms here, I'll use the plane cut tool. This tool makes a continuous cut across the space it intersects. Um, Almost forgot. At the beginning, I left this part unfinished. If you notice, my polygon here is not quadrilateral and it needs to be fixed. And now that we're here, it's better to add an edge for this part as well. It will make the work cleaner. All right, we finished the work. It was really a great project and I enjoyed it a lot. Thank you for sticking with me until the end. I hope you've learned some useful tips. If this is your first time visiting this channel and you find it helpful, I'd be glad if you subscribe to the page. I'll see you soon with the next video. Wherever you are in the world, stay happy and healthy. Goodbye.